What is going on, guys? This is Puppet 101, and today I'm talking about something that's kind of been bugging me for a little bit. Fair warning, ahead of time. You think that 5-second bit when I was playing Prototype a few months ago, when I said let me do something, that's pretty much going to be this whole video. Except it's not me talking about doing something. It's talking about modern gaming, or should I say the complete joke of it. So fair warning, there's going to be a lot of me yelling. So if that triggers you, I would recommend not watching. Just a heads up. So let's get into the video, alright? Okay, so there's a yelling warning. I'm going to yell in just as like a countdown, alright? 3, 2, 1. Modern gaming is a fucking joke! Seriously! I can't with games nowadays. They're so expensive. I get it. Games are expensive to make, but does that mean you have to literally just grab our fucking wallets? That got caught in everything. Jesus. That was basically my wallet I just grabbed. I was going to grab it and just basically toss it across the room, but it got caught up in my light and my microphone. Microphone's right here, actually. Hey, got a new microphone. Hey, hopefully this sounds better. I don't think it will, but fuck it. But still, modern games, just basically anything past 2020 that's been released is just lacking so much creativity. It's stupid. And it makes me mad. Let's see. I have a whole bunch of notes right here, basically talking about modern gaming. And the thing is just like, it's not only just a lack of creativity, but it's a lack of just being new. Every game that's coming out, it has to be a sequel to something. Or it has to be some IP that's been milked the shit out of that is practically non-existent anymore. And whenever it is something new, it's the same shit that you've seen 1,000 times. Because game devs out there suddenly decided they wanted to play it safe, when that wasn't even really the case anymore. So let's just kind of start off with this, because I'm actually recording on something totally different, and it probably explains the different quality of it. I actually have a light here, that's why it's emitting light, but normally I record on my phone, which is right over here. That's my phone. Normally, I would hook that up to a stand, and I record in front of the TV. This is the second time I've actually recorded with the background like this. But anyway, so the thing with modern gaming. What is one thing that you may have noticed about modern gaming? When I say modern gaming, I mean basically anything 2020 into now, right now, this very second. It can be numerous things. It could be numerous things. It could be the absolute broken state that games have to be released in for whatever reason. Or maybe it's the fact that they're charging a ludicrous amount of money for the standard edition of the game. Or, heck, maybe it's the fact that every game needs to have a microtransaction or a battle pass store in it. It could be many things. Today, I'm talking about all these different points of the shit that really should be fixed and just shouldn't exist. So let's start off with the very top thing, which is every new game has to be $70 standard edition. So when it comes to games, there's different editions for games. You'll have standard, gold, silver, ultimate, deluxe, complete. There's different kinds of editions, different kinds of games. It depends on what you play. And each one is charged more and more. Thing is, standard edition is the edition that's just the main game. No DLC, no special anything. It's just the main game. Is $70. Thing is, I can go to a GameStop, or I can go on eBay or Amazon, and I can find a used game, possibly even the same game, for $20. 15 if I'm lucky. Maybe less. There is no need for $70 for a fucking game. I can head over to GameStop and grab like 3 games and still have $10 left over. And that's just standard edition. That's just the main game. No DLC or anything like that. And then you'll have like all these like little minute things until you get over to the complete edition that has both DLCs that, by the way, are $40. So you're already spending $110 for the main game. Excuse me. For the main game. And the one DLC, then it's $150. I might be doing math wrong. I failed math. But still, you're spending at minimum $150 if you want the full fucking game. Unless you get it at launch, which you'll already have like the quote-unquote complete edition, which is just basically, it comes with a starter pack, early access to the 2 DLCs, that there's probably going to be some issue with the coding or something like that, and they're going to say, oh, there's something wrong with this, so you still have to spend $40. It's stupid. I'm going to point out, actually, there's one game on here that everyone seems to hate. I personally like it a lot, because I actually got the game and I've completed it. I haven't done a review on it, but it does a lot of things wrong, but in my opinion, it does some things right. And you're probably not even going to agree with me on it. I'm part of the 28% that actually likes this game. But still, let's see. What else is there? Alright, every new game that releases, it cannot survive at all. Not one of these games can survive even a day, apparently, according to the devs, without having a battle pass or some form of microtransactions to it. So a battle pass is just basically, you remember leveling up. Hey, you remember being able to level up in all the old games? Well, it's kind of like that, except you pay us $30 for it. Maybe more, if you're lucky. Microtransactions are just simply a way for devs to add in shit in the game that probably could have been in there since launch, or just easy like cheese options. Heck, I have a perfect example right here. $70 at launch. Filled to the brim with microtransactions. Thankfully, there's no battle pass, but microtransactions galore! Every time this thing lags, I keep thinking I'm running out of space. I have no idea how much space is on my computer. But my point stands. This was $70 at launch. Not only was it broken, which I will get to in a minute, but it's filled to the brim with microtransactions. Funny thing, these games, specifically Assassin's Creed, are supposed to be about historical accuracy. Yeah, I remember when people had Iron Man armor and, they can spit fire because they were fucking dragons as well. Yeah, totally historically accurate. That's just like a little gripe I have with Assassin's Creed right now. Hell, that's a gripe with Mirage and the whole teleporting skill. Hopefully that gets fixed. But still, it's filled up so much with microtransactions that it's basically, you're already spending $70 for this, as well as possibly way the hell more. Okay, so you had 3 DLCs for this game. You had Siege of Paris, and then you had the Druids one, and then you had Dawn of Ragnarok. Siege of Paris was like $10. That's actually kind of reasonable. For this, no, because this was a bad game. Then you have Druids, which was $20, and then you had Ragnarok, which was $40. Eee. Yeah, it's just... No. I'm at a loss for words when it comes to this shit. It's just... You can't buy a fucking game without being asked for more. Let's see. Online only shouldn't exist is another thing I have. Which is, thankfully, none of the issues that I have with these games. Because I don't buy shit like that. The only game I purchased was Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And I hardly play that because I'm hardly online. Hardly. So there's no reason really for me to play did I say Wildlands? I meant to say Breakpoint. My bad. It just kind of ruins the game because, one, it's a single player game. Sure, you can have multiplayer in it, but it's essential, basically, to have it be multiplayer Because you're always online. You have to be constantly connected to the internet in order for you to even play the fucking game. It's stupid. It's so dumb. I get if you're playing a game like Fortnite or something like that, like you're playing with other people, I get where you need to be online for that, but then you have like other things like that whole save the world thing. Why do I need to be connected to that? That's a single player thing. You can do that single player. So why shouldn't I be able to play through the whole save the world thing by myself? It doesn't need anything for online only. It's really just a single player thing that you can grab some friends with. But yeah, so they basically make games online only, especially for single player games. Again, I get it if it's something like, again, like Fortnite or something like that. Fortnite, PUBG, maybe even some of the Call of Duty stuff. It's like, okay, I get that because you're playing with other people that you don't know or anything. I get that. I totally get that. But it's the fact that you have to play the entire thing, whether or not it's a single player game or a multiplayer game. It has to be played with a constant internet connection, and that kind of bugs me. It really does. Let's see. Oh, we have two things right here. Tired of this shit. So, with online, we have updates to games, which just basically leads to laziness from devs. I understand if you release a game and if it's basically like it's not working as well as you thought it would, like you play tested through it and everything. I'm spitting everywhere. You play tested through it and everything, and it's completely, for the most part, fine until you release it, and then you're running into all sorts of issues. I get, updating the game to maybe fix some of that. I get that because let's be honest, not every game is going to be the same. It's not all going to be released with the same level of quality as much as we want it to. Different game companies do different stuff. What my issue is the complete lack of care that devs give their games nowadays. Like, you have this game, for example, which has this massive update problem. When I mean an update problem, I mean, well, basically what leads us into the same point, but I have it written down as a secondary point. Release now, fix later. They release this game, and it crashes constantly. It's buggy as hell. They hardly put any effort into it, basically. And then they basically take that feedback and they fix it. Would this be a problem? Only if you're paying, like, I don't know, nothing. If when this released, it was a free game, and they basically said Assassin's Creed Valhalla beta or something like that, and you paid $0 for it, you let people play that, and then you take that feedback, and then you made the game, I'd see that being a total win. Not only do you get to see that game grow, but you're also not spending, I don't know, $70! There is so much rage boiling. I'm trying to keep it contained. I really am. Because this is fucking unacceptable. Releasing a game broken, buggy, and unfinished, I get it. You're never going to get a game without bugs. I get that. But, let's see. Modern game versus, I don't know, how about literally any fucking game released on the PS2? Relatively bug-free. Mostly fun. What does this have? Bugs, bugs, bugs. It's hardly playable. Hell, it's not the first fucking thing. Let me grab more games. Okay, I got more examples. Let's see. Basically, false advertising. They were advertising a bunch of shit returning. None of it really returned. It just came out. Guess what? Buggy and broken. Hardly worked. Crashed all the time. Shit. That hit the cup. And it almost, spilled everywhere. Thankfully, there's a lid on it. Let's see. All right. Hardly worked. Full of bugs. Crashes constantly. Compared to, I don't know. Let's go with, basically a game back from 2004, 2005, and when was this again? Some point in early 2000s. I'm not reading through all of this, but basically, relatively bug-free. You can play co-op, which is non-existent in games. The only way you're playing co-op with anybody is if you buy the fucking game, and then you're asked to spend an extra $25 for PlayStation Plus or Xbox Gold, whatever the fuck you're playing on, in order for you just to play co-op with your friends. And it's not even co-op. It's just online multiplayer. It's so stupid that you have to spend not only $70 for this, but on top of that, another... you have to spend not only $70 for this, but an extra $25 just to play online with your friends, and hopefully they have a good internet connection, and you have a good internet connection. Otherwise, this shit ain't gonna work. And the thing is, it's not even a thing of like, oh, well, I can have a pitch-perfect internet connection, and they have Met connection, we'd still play just fine. No, you basically need to be in sync with your internet connection in order for this shit to work in the first place. It's so ridiculous. Compared to basically games that were released fucking forever ago. You can basically grab a second controller. You grab a second, maybe even third controller. 1 to 2. 1 to 2. 1 to 6. You grab multiple controllers and you just play these games with your friends. You don't do that now. You gotta pay 25 fucking bucks! It's ridiculous. The fact that we've dipped in quality from so much from this to this is ridiculous. Graphics have gotten better, but truth be told, I don't give a fuck about the graphics. What I like is fun gameplay, maybe a good story. I like to have fun. Well, this is fun. These are fucking terrible. Why? Simple. I know, I sound like a massive cringe fest. I fucking know. But I really need to get this out, because by this point, I've just... Who knows? Maybe this is funny for everyone, which is perfectly fine. And the thing is, there are fun exploits in this. Like, I think there was a speed boost or some, like, massive, like, jump boost in this that... Blah, 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 blah. Like, it was like some, like, glitch or something like that. That didn't break your game, but it just launched you up into the air. It was a little fun thing to do. It didn't kill you because the game didn't register. You just went 50 miles up into the air. Guess what? They patched that shit out. There was like, some exploit, I think, in this. These games are fucking 3 years old. So I might be remembering these wrong. But I remember there being an exploit in this where it gave you infinite ammo. Fix that. So basically, every time there's something fun in a game, the devs don't want you to have fun now. It's all about leaderboards and paying God knows how much for the DLC. That's not even fucking worth it in the end. You spend $40 for what? 2 extra missions, maybe a new weapon, maybe a new ability. That's it. 2 missions and a new something for $40? Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, here's another fun thing. What do these 3 have in common, besides all being made by Ubisoft or Ubisoft? I don't fucking care what they're called. The only thing that works at launch is their fucking store. Yeah, you know the store that you have to buy all their microtransactions for, like the XP boosters and everything? That's the only thing that fucking works. They half-ass the rest of this. The only care they put into the games is their ability to make even more money off of you. They don't bother actually fixing the fucking game until people are basically demanding them to. Let's see. Pre-ordering is also a fucking joke. You're basically paying for a game that you don't even know. These had a pre-order. This had a pre-order. This had a pre-order. This had a pre-order. This had a pre-order. You basically pay for a game you don't even know if you're going to like or not. Which brings me into a whole nother point that I want to point out that's not even on this. It's just something I want to say. games back then, again, were all about fun, right? You would go to the store, you pick this off of the shelf, you look at the cover, hey, that's a cool cover. You look at the back, sounds interesting enough. You pay $15 for it, possibly. $15, maybe 20 for this. Which, I know, money back then was probably a bit harder to get, and so maybe $20 back then is the equivalent to $40 now. I don't know. But still, it looks like fun. So you go online, or if you're lucky, you go online, you look up the trailer. But you would basically see the cover, looks kind of fun. Then you go home, you plug it in. You didn't need to wait 10 hours for it to install. It's just there from the start. Granted, storage space has increased in games, yes. But back then you had a memory card. That's why in almost all of these, they have this little slot for the memory card. Which, you know what, I'll fucking take over another half-assed mess like, oh, I don't know. Ugh. Water was tilting. Like this. So you basically went home and you had a lot of fun. Because you knew the game was going to be relatively bug-free and you were able to play online with your friends. For free. It's how they didn't even have fucking online back then. It was just co-op. Nowadays, it's literally, hey, this game looks kind of cool. So naturally, it'll be broken at launch when everyone's gonna buy it. Oh, and it's $70? Oh, well then yeah, we know for a fact it's gonna be broken now because they're just gonna basically take that money and run when this game inevitably fails. Oh, hey, I'm looking at the trailer. Hey, that decapitation move looked kind of cool. How much you want to bet that's not going to be in the game? And it's only going to be, it's either ever A, never going to be in that game, or B, it's going to be added back in a year after launch for the paywall of like maybe $15. It's stupid how far gaming has gone. You don't even really get good games now. There's a few games out there that have genuinely been good. And even they aren't really, like, they're standouts. They really are standouts. The only two I can think of are these. This is the only one that came out in 2020, and people gave this game a lot of crap. Understandably so, because this is basically a mobile game put on console for $40. Actually, you know what? I'll fucking take it. $40? Yoink! It's not 70. This isn't even from 2020. This was released, the director's cut was released in 2020, but Ghost of Tsushima is from 2016. No, add 2 years to that. It's 2018. And truth be told, there's a big difference between this and this, truth be told. I put in about 250 hours into this out of tedium because the story has to be 100 hours. Why? Because they want to bloat out the game as much as possible. So you move at a fucking snail's pace. And every time you think you're making progress, they just have to put in something that'll roadblock you. Compared to this, which I don't even think this is $70. I think this is $50. I could be totally wrong on that. But seriously, this was... Let's see. What do we get for this? Dull combat, loads of microtransactions, $40 DLCs. Compared to this, you get a 20-hour story, actual decent combat and stealth. If this is literally what Assassin's Creed should be, as opposed to this. I get it, it's a Viking game, but by this point, I make the joke that I say Assassin's Greed. So, 20-hour story, big, massive, beautiful open world. I have never used photo mode in a game that much until this game. The map is fucking pretty. Every moment is literally screenshot worthy. I am not kidding. But let's see. Oh, when the actual main game just kind of came out, it was like, again, it was probably like $60 at release in 2018. And then when they released the director's cut upgrade, it came with Iki Island, which is the story expansion, and an online multiplayer mode that you still had to pay PlayStation Plus for. This is a PlayStation only game, by the way. For $10, maybe 20. That's actually not bad. Oh, and it was released relatively bug-free, too. Not nearly as many bugs in this. Oh boy, what else do we have? I'm trying to blast through everything, but also trying to make sense. But this shit pisses me off. The fact that we get 1,000 times more quality in older games like this or this compared to literal crap games like this, which are just basically only shot out for money, is honestly just not only sad, but it's getting old. Hell, it's been getting old really fucking fast. It's old by now. It's so dumb. Oh, right. So, the other thing I want to kind of point out is something I have 1,000 ways to just kind of make an example of. The whole release now, fix later, pre-order shit. It's dumb because you're pre-ordering. You're spending $70 ahead of time for a game you don't even know if you're going to like or not. And then you basically know it's going to be broken at launch because that's the way games have been going. They don't bother putting in any actual effort into these games now. They just half-ass them except for the store. In which case that shit works perfectly fucking fine. I can guarantee you, not only does it not fly with most of the gaming community, but that shit would not fly at all in any other regards in actual, real fucking life. The hell was that? Anyway, let's start off. You go to the car dealership, right? You want to buy a car. They say, oh, this car is $22,000. So you pay in advance, like a week in advance for the car. Not that I don't think that's even an option in real life, but let's say that was, and you decided to. And then you basically, the day comes where you get to finally get your car. And all you're given is 4 wheels, the engine, the steering wheel, and the wiring to connect them. And then you ask, where the hell's the rest of the car? And then the dealership just says, oh, don't worry, we'll fix it later. No! That wouldn't fly. I can name many other things. The fucking TV. You ask for the TV. Hey, I'm going to buy a TV. Okay, well, pay however much it is ahead of time. Then they just hand you the stand and the screen. Not the full fucking TV, just the screen. Just the screen. Not even enough to fucking put the picture on it. Just the screen and the stand. Where the hell's the rest of the TV? Oh, we'll fix it later. You spend it on a chair. You spend it on a chair, right? And all they give you is the fucking arms to the chair. Where the hell's the rest of my chair? Oh, don't worry, we'll fix it later. You spend it on a fucking computer. All they give you is the keycaps. Half of them, actually. They give you half the keycaps. Where the hell's my computer? Oh, don't worry, we'll fix it later. That shit wouldn't fly anywhere else. Why should it with a fucking game? You just spend $70 ahead of time, and then they just basically half-ass this shit and bolt with the money. I already mentioned that co-op doesn't fucking exist. This had 2-player co-op. You can play as a second alien in this. You could race against each other. Well, actually, this was only 2-player. You can race against each other still in this game, which was also fun. This had up to 6 players. You can play up against 5 other people with this. And you got 1,000 times more fun out of it. Why? 1, because 1, online didn't exist. 2, PlayStation Plus didn't exist yet. 3, it was a relatively older game. So, they didn't have to patch it out. Because, here's another thing. They've basically mentioned, oh, it's impossible to release a game bug-free. Well, on one hand, I completely agree with that. You're not going to get a game without bugs. But with what they're releasing is completely unacceptable. The fact that we've been proven time and time again, games like this have been released mostly bug-free. Granted, do not get me wrong, there's still bugs in this. Same with this and this. Hell, even the ones that actually have more crap put into it, like this, it still has bugs in it. You're not going to get a perfect game without a bug. I'm fully aware of that. But the fact that they basically say, oh, it's impossible to release a game completely finished is frankly a fucking joke. Because this was released pretty much top-notch. barely any bugs in it, fun gameplay, this free co-op, and the fact that we basically are told, oh, it's impossible to do that now. No, the fuck it isn't. No, the fuck it isn't. No. I don't care if you're a AAA company or not. Indie developers. So, basically, indie developers are people that make games for a way lower budget, which is another thing. How the hell does this have $25 million to make? I don't even know how the fuck much this costs to make. But it sure isn't enough that it costs $70 to be priced. I can bet you if I put enough time and effort into making my own fucking game and making it as AAA as possible, it wouldn't even have the fraction of a fucking whatever the hell this is. It would take way less of it. It'd probably be only I don't know, $100. It's stupid. The fact that they're even saying, oh, this game costs so much. Is that the game costing that much, or is that you paying your employees? Because this is not $25 million. This is... It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to point out. Demos for games are non-existent. Back when I was born in 2000 and blank. I'm not giving out my actual fucking birth year, alright? But I was basically born around the time the Xbox 360 came out. So that can range from 2004 to maybe 2007. But still, I still grew up with PlayStation 2, as obviously shown here. I didn't have a PS3. I had a PlayStation 2, and now I have a PS5, as granted from this. Thing is, there was a thing you could subscribe to back then. Back then, meaning 1999 to 2001. God, my allergies are kicking up. Most of these games are covered in dust, because my PlayStation 2 doesn't want to work right now, so these are just kind of sitting there. But there's a thing, I think this is the right thing. It was called Underground. You could subscribe to that, and guess what? You get these. Now, you may be wondering, Puppet, what the hell are these? Well, it's actually something called Jam Pack, which, if we actually see the back, you might notice there's a lot of pictures, as you probably can't because of the camera quality. But still, let's see. Take home 10 playable demos. Give it up for 11 playable demos. So you got demos for games. If you don't know what a demo is, basically, they give you a snippet of the game, whether it be a smaller bit of the open world map, or mayhaps just the first level of a video game or something like that. You would get that, and you play that game, you find out, hey, am I going to like this or not? Which is non-existent nowadays. You don't see that in games. And the thing is, it's a thing where they've released multiple on this type of thing. This one, for example, has Speed Punks, Medieval 2, Spider-Man, NASCAR Rumble, Siphon Filter 2. And this is all stuff from, I think 2001. Yeah, you get 11 different demos. I can name all of them, but I don't know how much time I have on this, and I don't want to freaking list all of them. This was from 1999. You have Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, Gran Turismo 2, Tiny Tank, Cool Borders 4, Skate and Destroy. You get so much more demos, and they're non-existent now. You don't even fucking find these now. There's been one game, actually two, now that I think about it, there's been only 2 games that's been released within the past few years that actually have a demo to it. You have the fucking new Final Fantasy. I'm never fucking playing Final Fantasy. Let's be honest. It doesn't look that interesting, truth be told. As I say, as I'm pulling out the other game that had a demo that's made by the same fucking company. But still, you have this, which got a lot of hate. And I can see, on one hand, why there's so much hate. It's bad dialogue. To me, it's not nearly as bad as everyone's saying it is. But I like the thing is, really quick, This game was actually marketed on its sandbox and its gameplay, and people judged it based off of its dialogue, when that was not what it was being judged on, which would not fly anywhere else. This is made by Square Enix, so that's like saying, oh, Just Cause 5 released, and they judge it on the story, when that's not even what that game is supposed to be about. It's about blowing shit up. That's like going to Ubisoft, and basically they're advertising a new Watch Dogs, and they're saying, oh, where's the fucking something rather that's not even going to be in the fucking game. Far Cry 6, actually. Let's do that. They released a new Far Cry game. Oh, where's the third person camera? That was nowhere in the marketing. But still, as bad as many people are saying that this game is, you have to admit one thing. They did one thing right, and that was 2 months, I think 3 actually, prior to the release of this game, they released a playable demo for everyone. It was a free demo. You just go online and click install. Honestly, that is better better just communication than whatever the hell this is. This doesn't have a demo. It's just half-assed garbage. It's infuriating. It's fucking infuriating. Okay, that managed to start. So basically, I slammed my desk so hard that the cord is sitting on top of the thing. The thing. It's like the little like mouse pad, but it's like the square on the computer. I don't know what it's called. Touchpad? That's something else. Basically, this landed on it and caused it to basically register as me pressing the pause button. I don't know how that happened. Any fucking way. But yeah, modern gaming is just a fucking joke, because you have games like this back then. You'd spend $15 on it, and it looked fun, so you just bought it and you had fun. You knew it was going to be relatively bug-free. Bugs were not the biggest problem back then, because companies actually put in an effort into their games. They didn't half-ass everything. So $15, and you basically knew what you were getting. Nowadays, they release a game, and basically it's, oh hey, this looks kind of cool. How much you want to bet half of this shit is either broken or not even in the game, and it's only there through a paywall? It's microtransactions galore, and it's going to need a shit ton of updates, because games can't be released complete now. They say it's completely impossible, when 15, maybe 20 years ago, that wasn't a fucking problem to begin with. They would release a game, and you'd see it on a commercial, or hell, maybe even on YouTube, depending on what era you're at. And you'd see that trailer, and you think, hey, that looks kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and buy that game, and you knew you were going to have fun, because that's what gaming was back then. It was just fun. Now it's just this complete greed-filled, just boredom. There's a massive difference between just basically half-assing a game and having me put in 200 hours of boredom and tedium versus putting in 250 hours out of fun. They fucking ruined this game today by adding in microtransactions. Techland, if for some fucking reason you're listening to this, please get the fuck rid of microtransactions. Nobody asked for that. They're your community update? That's not a community update. That's the fucking summer update no one fucking asked for. I'm out of breath talking. But basically, I put in 250 hours into this because the story is bloated as shit, the combat is dull, and I was just sitting there with this expression on my face the entire time. Versus something like this, which I actually put in 250 hours in purely because I had fun with this. Not only the first game, but the second one too. As I say as I'm holding the second one. This one I've actually put in the 250 hours. Dying Light 1 I have like maybe close to 200, period. I've had fun playing this. You don't have fun in games anymore. It's all about just rinsing your fucking wallet dry because you know you're just basically wasting away your money. You can't have fun in games anymore unless you pay basically. So a console costs $500 probably. The new PlayStation costs $500. And so basically, if you do calculations, adding in the main price of the game compared to the three main DLCs, and then maybe possibly even mandatory microtransactions, because you basically can't play a game nowadays without it being, microtransaction filled, like I said. But they also feel more and more mandatory. They don't feel optional. They feel more mandatory now just to play the fucking game. And basically, by the end of it, you're spending $250, maybe even $300. That's over half of what a fucking console sells for a single fucking game. One game is almost as expensive as a fucking console. That's ridiculous money. You don't need that much fucking money. Give me a second. So like I said, I just wish you could get a game. It can release a game and you know you're going to have fun. But we don't know that anymore. That's the big issue. You have games like Assassin's Creed Mirage coming out that look fun. You have games like Spider-Man 2 coming out that look fun. But the main issue is specifically in the back of my head, and probably to a whole bunch of other people, it's like, yeah, this looks fun, but we know it's not going to be this way at launch. We know it's basically going to be half-assed. Granted, I know almost nothing about Insomniac, the people that make the Spider-Man games. So maybe they do their stuff a bit differently. But Assassin's Creed Mirage, I see the gameplay for that, and I'm thinking, this looks cool, but I know it's going to be broken. Because by this point, they're just half-assing the games. And it's sad. I want there to be a game that you could just buy for cheap and know you're going to have fun with it. Not this microtransaction-filled wasteland that used to be fun gaming. And it sucks. Because it honestly feels like a lot of games that have a unique concept nowadays just get absolutely crapped on. Specifically like this. Like, granted, is this the best game? No, it's not. But basically, if you haven't heard of this, it's basically, if you're a fan of Rocket Raccoon from the Marvel comics, or hell, even Guardians of the Galaxy, you might like this, because your character is basically Rocket Raccoon. But it's a really fun game, made by an indie company of all things. It's just a little bit expensive, so I would recommend getting this off of like a sale or something. But this is an incredibly fun game, and it goes hardly noticed because people just crapped on it, and that sucks. Not only that, but we don't even get new stuff now. Thing is, people mention this game to me a lot, and that would be The Witcher 3. And I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this. I don't like The Witcher 3. But it's not that game's fault. I like RPGs, yeah, but truth be told, it's the fact that every game, we have this game, and just basically every game from 2020 onwards tries to copy The Witcher 3. So to me, it's like, by the time I got around to playing the originator, the one that started all this, I was already bored. I didn't even bother finishing it because I've already seen this 1,000 times. It's gotten boring to me so fast because it's so repetitive to me. Because every game's trying to copy it. We don't get unique stuff now. It's always whenever it's something new, it has to be the next big Witcher 3 copy-paste RPG, or it has to be a sequel to a game that's been existing for years. You don't see unique stuff. And what's even worse is if this stuff was released like today, you know it's going to be buggy, it's going to be broken, it's going to hardly work, there's going to be a microtransaction store. And that sucks. Modern gaming is fucked. I'm just saying it. Unless somehow, by some miracle, I highly doubt it, by some miracle, games somehow turn around. I don't think there's going to be a way for anybody to bounce back from this. And it sucks because I've been playing games ever since I was 5. And I got a taste to see what fun could have been, especially when it comes to modern gaming. You see what the hell the hardware can handle now. Back then, you couldn't get particle effects or just like overall fun stuff that you could on a PS2 game. You couldn't get that kind of stuff back then. Nowadays, the hardware can handle so much more, and it opens up so much potential. But it's being wasted because companies are just trying to spit out the newest shit for more and more money, for less and less effort, and it sucks. I know I'm being repetitive, but I can't get this off of my head, and I have to speak out for it. I know I'm not the only one out there with this opinion. And that honestly kind of brings me to the last point that I want to kind of make. And it's a segue of all things into the game that I've been working on. One that's been silent for so long. Granted, there's no teaser or anything out. I've revealed a poster for it. My game called Fury is basically what I think a game should be. And the thing is, I know nothing about coding a game, but I'm gonna put my all into it. I have friends who are gonna try and help me with this, and I'm thankful for them. But basically, the whole thing with Fury is, at least what I'm trying to do with it is, hey, you want a fun game? This is gonna be an attempted to be fun game. I've never made a game before. I'm gonna release other games prior to this. Fury's just like, it's kind of like what's the term? Fury's not really a building block, truth be told. I'm gonna release like other games before Fury, sure, but basically those are like building blocks before I find my groove. And basically Fury's like this like big overshadowed. Basically, it's like all these like little indie games versus like this big game that I'm gonna be spending the most time on because I want to release Fury the most, truth be told. But basically, I'm putting my all into it, more so than what these companies could put in. I know it's weird to kind of basically what's the term, market my own game that hasn't even had a teaser for it yet, any kind of marketing. But the thing is, like, the whole thing that I'm planning to do with Fury is like, this is what gaming should be. And basically what I'm planning to do with it is like just release a game for fun, which you don't see anymore. Unless they're from an indie dev, you don't see releasing a game for fun. It's always out of money. And it sucks. And the thing is, with my game is like, I'm trying to make it as AAA looking as possible. Most likely it's going to end up being AA because you don't see that anymore. It's either indie or it's AAA. But there is actually a term out there called AA for games, which is basically, it feels like a mixture between a AAA game where it has a budget to it, but it's also not an indie game. It's too professional for an indie game, but it's not as complete as like this. I know it's a bit weird for me to kind of mention my game because, again, like I don't even have any kind of, marketing for it. I don't have a teaser for it. I don't have any kind of showcase for it. I have a poster posted up somewhere on my channel. That is it. That's all I have for Fury right now. But I'm putting a lot of my effort into making this game. And I have friends who are willing to voice act with me and help me make this game. And I am so thankful for them. But basically, to fully finish this out, God, this video is almost an hour long. I think this is possibly the longest video I've ever made on this channel. And it's a fucking ranting video about how bad modern gaming is. Basically, I completely forgot what I was going to say. Basically, what I'm just saying is modern gaming is messed up. And unless they find a way to bounce back from it, I don't see there being any hope. If anything, there's a chance that it's going to get worse and worse. How long before they start to charge us even more for the standard edition of the game? How long before they start asking $100 out of us for the standard edition of the game? And it's even less complete than it is now. Modern gaming sucks. There's no way to sugarcoat that. It's just sad. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked, feel free to leave a like. Please do post your opinion down below in the comments if you feel like it. If you feel like it, also subscribe. I'm all for anything. But that kind of does it for this video. Modern gaming sucks. See you guys in the next one. Bye.